What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about Rich Paul and how Rich Paul is how he's hyping up what LeBron James this workout that LeBron James, Maxie had. What's the guy name? Maxie and Brown, right? Jalen Brown and I forgot the Maxi guy first name. But anyway, yesterday when I made this video, I said that this is just typical LeBron James, right? Put himself in a position to win, put himself in a position to dominate, whereas though he don't really get anything out of it, right? The guys that he was playing in that little scrimmage that I showed the video of, and the video is probably everywhere, right? They showing the video everywhere. So Rich Paul, Max Kellerman was talking about it, right? And Rich Paul tried to make it seem like it's like this video is an example of, like these guys get ready to go on a championship run or something like that, right? When and the example that I use, like Michael Jordan, nowhere in the world Michael Jordan would have worked out with those guys, scrimmaged those guys that LeBron James was working out with or scrimmaging. You had LeBron James, you had Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brown on the same team against three guys that, and I don't even think these guys were over no more than about 6'1", 6'2", right? Because all of these guys were shorter than Tyrese Maxey. None of these guys was his height or above, right? And so you got LeBron James working out against these guys, and they basically they don't get anything out of it, right? The guys who worked out against LeBron James and they get something out of it, but not LeBron, not Maxey, and not Brown. But I'm gonna play the audio of Rich Paul, Max Kellerman trying to make this seem like like this is what the Sixers need in order for those guys to be able to go on a championship run. Check this out.
Clip. All right, so a quick announcement.
Hold up. Hey man, check this. Well, okay, so here's the audio.
Yours.
Exactly. Exactly. But what I will say about this,
Things a little different.
I think like you said, if I'm a fan, if my team is showing that type of camaraderie, then I am excited about that. Guys are eager to get in the gym together. And I was there, and it wasn't just like a workout. It's really more so, and you can see this on social media. Guys are working out in terms of actions and where they're going to be and things to look for, which I think workout should look a lot more like that. Shout out to Chris Johnson, because workout should look a lot more like that, because just being in the gym, working on a one-on-one move, the problem we have with our young men in the game is you have
Not
all
a one-on-one game.
this one-on-one stuff, but you're never going to get this opportunity to play that role on this team. And you may get it on your AAU team, you get it on your high school team.
It's like when Tom Brady wound up.
See, now when you listen to Rich Paul talk about basketball, you talk about one-on-ones. That's what basketball boils down to, one-on-ones. Like a lot of people, you have people that have different skill sets, right? On the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side. But if you can break a person down and defeat them one-on-one, that's why Michael Jordan was so he played everybody. He wanted to play everybody one-on-one. Kobe Bryant wanted to play everybody one-on-one, because if and there's so many guys in the NBA, a lot of guys who play basketball, like you have to double team these guys. So there's no way, like a one-on-one for some guys is an insult, right? And it's the same way in football. If some guys feel like if one person tackled them, that's an insult. Like some running backs, no way in the world, they are going to let one person just tackle them in the open field. It's just not going to happen. And LeBron James is well known for somebody who is not a really good one-on-one basketball player. I remember Michael Beasley said that, when he was with the Miami, he used to cook LeBron James, beat him all the time in a one-on-one. But not a whole lot of people go around saying that about Kobe. They don't say that about Mike, because that was their specialty. Their specialty was being able to break people down one-on-one and score and basically be unstoppable. Same thing. I remember watching this tape, Kevin Garnett, right? Kevin Garnett was an excellent one-on-one basketball player, and they used to play. A video was of Kevin Garnett playing the guys on the U.S. Olympic team. I don't know what year it was, but they playing one-on-ones to one, and every time you score a point, the first person to score a point win. And Kevin Garnett just was tearing everybody up, right? So that's what basketball is all about. Is about being able to score at will on your opponent. So this right here just lets me know that either this guy, Rich Paul, don't know a lot about basketball, or even he just lying.
On the Bucks, and all of a sudden they're practicing when they're not even supposed to be. He grabs a few of his receivers.
You have to do those things. Now, don't get me wrong. You should just play basketball. You should do a little working out, but then you should, one-on-one individual stuff. But then you should also put yourself in a role that you're actually going to play on your team.
And
now that video, if you go back and watch that video, what does that video have to do about a role that you know what I mean? You got LeBron James, like I say, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown playing against guys at the YMCA. Look like they some guys who they just ran into at the YMCA. They don't gain anything from that. You know what I mean? Except for maybe some cardio. Other than that, these guys couldn't challenge them in any way. So, and I said in the last video that I made about this situation, certain guys, like, when you go to play at certain gyms, right? And if they have NBA guys and D1 guys and pro prospects, like, anybody just can't walk on the court and get on the court with those guys. And so these guys that I seen Jaylen Brown and LeBron and Maxey playing against, they don't look like that caliber of guys, that level of talent. They just look like some guys who was at the YMCA. They ran into them and they just, they just played them. So they didn't get anything out of this, nothing at all. Because even if you want to say, well, they're getting camaraderie out of it, right? But in order to build chemistry and camaraderie, you have to put yourself in a position where as though you are tested, right? And so these guys didn't pose any tests to LeBron James or any of these guys, right? They wasn't tested, because when you're tested, now you know how your teammate is going to react in certain situations. But they were, none of these guys were tested, so they were able to impose their will on them. Whereas though, if they'd have played against some guys with some who was able to push back and challenge LeBron James or challenge Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey, then you might be able to get something out of it. But these guys were no test at all for them.
Well, how does chemistry now? There's what you're talking about. You're really saying not just X's and O's, but practicing what's really going to happen.
Yes.
As opposed to, right? Okay.
Boom. I'm
That's
posted. I got a smaller guy on me. I duck in. You throw it. They bring a double. I throw it back out. You swing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And all right. So he said you got a smaller guy on him. So he is acknowledging that, all these guys that were playing against LeBron and Tyrese and Jaylen was small. They just were small guys, compared to what they will face in an NBA game. So you can't build chemistry. You can't build camaraderie, because it's all fake. Right. So go back and look at that little workout film or whatever they want to call it. And you hear those guys on the court talking and telling about good cut and all this other stuff, right? That's cool when you're not getting tested. But if somebody is denying you the ball or pressuring up on you or making you or bumping into you when you try to cut or when you try to establish position somewhere, like I said, getting some pushback, that's a whole different experience than, running into some guys at the local YMCA and being able to just do whatever you wanted to do to them, man. But it's just typical LeBron. This guy, Rich Paul, just a useful idiot. And I don't know. I guess they feel like they talking to people who don't know about basketball, or even this is just for LeBron James fans, right? Just to get their hopes up and to let them down, only to let them down when the season starts. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.